Hey, welcome folks. Today I'm going to be going over the SimCommander software get with an Accuforce V2. I thought I'd go over it because people have questions about it. Also too, to maybe portray a little bit more details about how this is a very capable piece of software that allows you to do quite a bit in your sim games. So this is what happens after you launch SimCommander. Come up to this screen which has all your sim games that you can automatically find or put in on your own. Thing is so big and it has so many features, it's kind of difficult to start. But let's start here. You want to launch, when you want to find a sim, go to the home button here. Button here will screen. Go to plus button, auto discover sim games. Now we already did this, and so there's no sim buttons that were added. It has already found all the system. That's how you would find new games that are installed on PC. Bring up that feature, we can create from laps, or we can import, we can create from scratch sim. You would name it here, pick the game from the list of games that you have installed in your, and also too, after you pick the game, say for race room, the universal profile goes again, which would be the profile that you would launch for every car and track in the game, where you can do the different cars that are in the track. You can set up a profile per car. Or you could set up a profile per track and car. You can also log your telemetry for it. Choose the best setup with an auto wizard. Off of close that out. I'm going to delete this one because we don't really have files. So that's how you set up games. Also too, want to from scratch set up a game that maybe hasn't been, maybe is just released, and you want to create a profile for that game because it hasn't been updated yet by SimCommander. What you do is go to settings window, go to games. You would add a new game, go through the wizard there, go through all that, but it's a wizard. I'm going to do, actually I will show you because it's specific to unreleased titles. Go to an unsupported game, set that up, and that wizard. Now, here's the nitty gritty of things. Settings. You can approach settings in two methods. You play with the settings before the game is launched. So, by going to settings, here you have output mixer, set up a dashboard for that you want to see screen, SimHub, particular launch tasks if you're savvy with that, which I am not. Some advanced features. I am not savvy with either yet. I think it is to do with have the sim experience, Ocean Sim features available. So here we are at the output mixer. Output mixer is where you go to change all the effects and settings that you're gonna feel game SimCommander. Hit the drop down here. This is what I have for this particular profile. This profile doesn't have the cloud tune. See this little cloud here, profiling via clouds. That's what I tend to use more than often not. Notice my output mixer is different because I have used that one and changed the effects in here. Here are some of the effects. Force feedback, smooth game force feedback smoothing, slew rate, oscillation reduction, engine RPM, dynamic cornering force reduction. Kind of works in line with slew rate, reduce intensity levels of that. So it's kind of like, I think that's how it works. Still learning. These are two new features that you can find on the Accuforce Extreme. The slew rate, dynamic oscillation reduction, dynamic corner. These are your standard that you find on every wheel is dampening, maybe friction, inertia. This is actually something that you will find only on Sim Experience, and it's called Feedback Foundation. Feedback Foundation gives weight the force reduction, slew rate, stiffens the intensity of what you feel after starting a corner, feeling the weight of the intensity of how hard it is to turn. Yes. It's really hard to define and describe a lot of the feelings create. Product is very good. It's very solid. There's millions of combinations you can see here that you could come up with, give you steering fidelity. Now these aren't all of the features find the effects category. You can add some more. For example, I will choose Game Force Feedback Effects. Scales the intensity of the damper, spring, and inertia effects in the event a game uses them. And you can change the intensity of those as well as what you can in-game. So it's kind of like a layer of value to those effects. Toggle them on and off here. use the slider, give yourself values that you presented here. So as you can imagine, with a cloud tune, it's pretty good right out of the box. But you can add some sort of details to the effects and change the cloud tunes and hold them. The game will remember them based off of, again, set up a profile for cars, individual cars, and tracks. Or a universal build will transcend to all the different cars and tracks. That's generally what I do. I don't have to make car and track tune, but if I decide to do so, it's good to have that ability. I can understand some aliens out there will probably really appreciate that. Then you have device settings. This is your device setting. This is what it will start out with. And it outputs to the extreme wheel. You have different modes. I'm going to put it on extreme. But the modes are half torque, default, aggressive, intense, and extreme. I generally like to put them on extreme. This one I seem to have missed, so I'm going to put it on extreme. Those are different values that not only change the hertz of reception of the information of the telemetry, but also responsiveness of the. Leave my value at. You can change these with sliders, and basically change things from like intensity, smoothing. If I change the intensity here, notice it changes it up above to here. They run conducive with just the intensity. Smoothing, stop spring, stop dampener. Change your degrees of rotation here. Very key. Some games that you might want to change the degrees of rotation. But a lot of the sims I find give you the degrees of rotation per car, and SimCommander will pick that up and use that. Some other features of Commander. You can have a favorite spin, show your favorites, search. Search feature here where you can say, hey, I want Forza Motorsport 8. Whatever specific track. Shit, it created those. So I think that's pretty much the basis of what you'll do with the game. Now, if you launch a game, for example, I will launch Evo here. And let's say I want to now, while I'm in the game, go and change my settings. Alt tab out. Click the current profile settings button found here at the bottom right. Now bring up that same menu. Go to the output mixer or your dashboard. Create your dashes in here. Change the value your effects here. So you can set this up. Some games, this overlay here, this menu here, will stay on top of the game so that you can control it while you have it. You can do another window if you have triples or something, and keep it on top of the video game like a layer. Change your values as you're driving. Some games you have to go back and forth, tabbing in and out. But basically, that's how you set up all your sims with SimCommander. Let me show you a little bit of definition of those effects. And right now, what I have set up is pretty good, but I'll help define how these feel by alt-tabbing out, go to the current profile settings, the output mixer, and to the effects. I have my intensity of the wheel at 100%, but the game force feedback I've lowered to 85% because that value feels best. I can turn this up to 100% and have a little bit more strength. And now I'm running at 100% intensity of the game force feedback with a little bit of smoothing, 80% slew rate, which is while turning how you feel the cornering and the intensity of the force feedback. Oscillation reduction 100%. This generally you do not change for the most part. You can lower it, but for some games, if you notice the wheel going back and forth, shaking and clamming around, you just change its intensity value and it removes it. I can feel the engine RPMs. That value can be changed. Up to 50%. The dynamic cornering force reduction. Let's play with that. We're at 100% right now. Let's go for a spin, and I'll explain what that feels like. So I'm feeling feeling a lot of road. Feeling a lot of the bumps, and I feel the paint on the road. How about that? Like, I'm feeling everything. And when I'm turning, there is definitely an ease of turning into the turn, but also too resistance. And that resistance gives you a lot of control. I can feel the slip angle as I'm going around the corner. But now let's turn it down and see what I feel. And that's how you're going to tune, is you got to take these sliders, take it from one extreme to the other, from 100%, go all the way down to like 10%. Good enough. And really see what we've done. See how it feels. So I feel it's a little softer. No, it's still pretty firm. I feel I haven't reduced it as much. I think it's firmer. And I'm feeling a lot of the engine vibration that I turned up. Oh, I skipped off the ground a little bit, and I could feel the wheel come off of the ground and make contact back onto it. When I was braking and I feel the wheels locking up, that's an actual sensation that you can feel. This has the fidelity that you can't find anywhere else. I've driven other sims and it's great. They give you like a feeling of force feedback, but as far as effects are concerned, the effects here are second to none. And that's why I really appreciate this wheel, because it gives you a sensation that's a little firm, and I feel maybe even a little unrealistic. Let's flip back. Maybe a little unrealistic to what a car should feel like. The cloud tune was at 85%. Let's put it back there. And these cloud tunes, they feel really good out of the box. We're just messing around with some settings and changing things around. I'm going to reduce some of that weight that I was feeling. Wondering to 100%. Arrow key after I've done it, and it's much more accurate. So we have 100% corner reduction. That value goes up to 400%. Interesting. And yeah, oh, it's smooth, and it feels like a car. where when you're turning, you do feel some resistance in weight, but it is not super firm. And I guess your mileage will vary on all these settings. You're going to get something that you feel is not only applicable to your racing, but also maybe if you want to set it up so that it feels as realistic as possible, you can set that up. If you're very good at that, you can set that up and have something that mimics maybe an actual race car that you're driving or what you feel a car should feel like. And then you can come in here into the settings, into your controls, go to your settings, change all these values, the dynamic dampening, minimum damper, damper, true force gain. You have true force, I suppose. Um, all these values, it's enough to go mad. You could be tweaking and tuning for a long time, or you could just cloud tune, set up to feel good. What can we do with the sim settings? Want to close it? We would cancel. Come back. Let's go into the. This is where you set up your games. First club is for your login. Start it up. I'll show you what it's like. Start it up. You have to log in via an. You have to be. That's how you log in. Settings. You can do your speech settings. Um, Speech settings. You have to select your volume. Select your device manager. Accuforce Extreme. This mode saves to the controller box found inside. So if you want to run games without using SimCommander, set up your mode, intensity values, and all these values. Save the settings to the controller and that so you don't have SimCommander. Actually, set a center, set and calibrate, apply default settings. Make sure you have this enabled. Say, hey, this is the same thing that uses the whole ecosystem find from Sim Experience. Accumotion controller for motion sim. want to use butt kicker or some sort of transducer, you have SimVibe, and you can set that up here. Sound card, your channel tone, extensions, fill, pedal, C, shifter, stations, SimWin. Want to check your devices, wireless button box. Check your buttons. This is Sim Extreme. Cases has like people had to go into like settle to joy.cpl. Check it out. Sure. Here, Sim mapping. Oh, there's also a speech functionality. Commander, you have to click here. Talk to the SimCommander. Say launch project 2. Listening. Setting. Start. Setting. Select this VR setting. Steam. It's not device. Advanced stuff here. Stuff to per tune speaker. Cars and tracks all set up professionally. Accurate. So sim. So that's it basically. Thanks for watching. That's how SimCommander works. Hope you appreciate the video. Like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing other possible tunes and setups. I've really gotten hands and abilities. Share those. We also have a car club where we race. Like and subscribe and comment below. Thank you.